Welcome to the 23rd episode of the Illegal Hands to the Face Football Podcast. How are you doing, Jake?
I am doing fantastic, Hayden. How are you?
Tremendous, because I'm so excited to see everything you have to say to confirm everything that absolutely 100% will happen in this year's draft. I'm really excited. I'm more excited for this than my own, obviously. I don't know.
Oh yeah. I was more excited for yours than I am for mine right now. Now that yours has happened, you can have a little bit more input than I had on yours because I didn't want to give my picks away.
Yeah, we'll have to flip that around next year.
Yeah.
We'll trade off.
But yeah, do you just want to hop into this right now?
I'm ready.
No
Get
news
into
has
it.
happened.
No nonsense. All right. Let's go.
All right. So with the first pick in the NFL draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Trevor Lawrence out of Clemson.
Nice braces.
I don't think this pick is surprising on any standard. You had it. Everyone's having it. If the Jags don't take Trevor Lawrence, I think like Mel Kiper will have a heart attack. I don't know if like that'd be bad for ratings, but yeah. So
I think it would boost ratings.
Yeah, I have the Jags taking Trevor Lawrence at 2. I have the New York Jets taking Zach Wilson. This kind of just seems like a consensus too. I would love if the Jets shock the world and take someone else here, but it just seems like the Wilson thing's set in stone. And yeah, there's not really much to say about him that you and I both haven't already expressed. We don't really. We don't really like the pick.
That's another wonderful photograph right there. Oh my goodness. These are the two girls that he brought to the same prom, correct?
Yes. These are the two girls that he brought to the same prom.
Wonderful.
At 3, I got the San Francisco 49ers taking Trey Lance. I have not touched this since the Kansas City Chiefs-Ravens trade. And I had this pick put in because I think it is something that Shanahan should do. Trey Lance in college ran a system very similar to Shanahan's. A lot of plays under center, a lot of motion pre-snap, a lot of play action. Trey Lance also, with his power running ability, can contribute more to what San Francisco wants to do with what they do running in between the tackles. So I think Trey Lance, especially if their plan is to have a quarterback sit behind Jimmy G for a year, I don't think you do that if you get Mac Jones and Justin Fields. You just shouldn't sit those guys for a year. Trey Lance, if you need a guy to sit for a year, Trey Lance is your guy.
I don't think that they want to sit a guy for a year. I don't think they do. If you think they do, then okay, I guess that makes sense, because then if you're not worried about him sitting for a year, then I'd say you really want to go for upside. Kind of probably most people are thinking Trey Lance or Justin Fields in that scenario. I still love Mac Jones, but I'm guessing most people would say upside-wise they're going to look at the other two rather than Mac Jones, so that takes him off the board. But I don't know. I'm not likely. I mean, I made my own, and I obviously said something different, so we'll have to see. I mean, we could still both be wrong, so even if the first two picks go the right way.
And with the 49ers not taking Justin Fields here, I have him going to the Falcons in the very next pick. I know that you aren't a fan of Trey Lance going to the Falcons because of Matt Ryan. I think if Justin Fields does not get taken in the top 3 and Atlanta does not trade out of this pick, they need to take Justin Fields because he's just the heir apparent at that point. Have him either replace Matt Ryan right away, trade him away, get back into the first round of the same draft if that's what your plan is, or have him sit for a year, which I wouldn't do because his ability is off the charts and I'd want to see what you're getting immediately with him. I think he has the ability to start right away. And Atlanta has a new head coach, new offensive coordinators, everything. So Matt Ryan's going to be learning a new system the same time Justin Fields is. So why not just have the younger guy that's going to be learning the same system get in there first? I would love this pick if it happened and if Justin Fields gets here. I think if the first three picks play out like I have them, he is going to get picked at 4. Maybe not with the Falcons, but whatever team the Falcons trade out with, he will get picked at 4.
I don't think Arthur Blank wants a quarterback. The GM and the coach can want one, but I don't think the owner does, and the owner is the owner. So that kind of overrules them. That's my opinion. But also, I don't think that even if they don't want to take a quarterback, that they want to trade out of this pick, because I think that there's way too much really high-end talent to drop too much here. I like Kyle Pitts, Penei Sewell. I don't think you're backing far out of here, and I think that anybody who would want to trade up would be trading up from more than like 3 picks away. So that's what I have to say.
Yeah, I'm not gonna waver from my position. I've thought this since start of February, ever since the end of the Super Bowl, and I started to look at the draft class. I am heavily convinced that it'll be 4 quarterbacks off immediately. Whether Atlanta trades this pick or it is Atlanta, I can't picture Atlanta picking a skill position player here. I just can't. I don't know why. I just can't.
Well, do you count tight end as skill position?
Kyle Pitts is a wide receiver.
Okay.
That's just, I know I count him as a skill position player. At 5, I have the Cincinnati Bengals taking Jamar Chase, and I know I don't agree with this either. I don't agree with this pick if the Bengals do it. I just think it is something very Bengal-y to happen, of them having a franchise left tackle, someone to protect Joe Burrow, fall right into their lap, but then they fall too in love with the fact of, oh, well, he gets his number 1 college target back. It can connect with him. It just seems like the perfect move for the Bengals to mess up here and take Jamar Chase, because they somehow convince themselves that their wide receiving core that is phenomenal isn't as good, and Joe Burrow somehow convinces the front office what he wants. I know that that's not how it really works. The only guy that has a lot of influence like that is Tom Brady. But if the Bengals view Joe Burrow, put him on a higher pedestal than he deserves to be, and get him Jamar Chase because he wants Jamar Chase, and they don't even think about the blocking for him, I can 100% see this happening.
I don't think Joey B is talking too loudly. I don't think he likes to. Also, it's not... The problem is if they make this pick, it's never going to look like a bad pick, because this guy's going to be plenty good, and you won't have to worry about him being bad. It's just the issue is that they're trading in a position that is fairly quality for them already, instead of going out and getting a guy who can change a position that sucks for them right now, and that's just not a good idea.
Yeah, I really want to see how they're going to react after losing AJ Green and John Ross, losing 2 receivers that really I don't, at least in AJ Green's point of his career at that point, did not think very highly of in that core, at least last year. And they're going to be like, well, we can replace both of them, we can replace both of them by getting Jamar Chase. I think that it just seems like such a Bengal move for them to fall into that trap.
Yeah, you're right. And even though there's 3 receivers on that team now that are still better than those 2 guys you named last season.
Yeah. Well, at 6, then, I have the Miami Dolphins taking Penei Sewell. The Miami Dolphins offensive line, it's all right. They took Austin Jackson last year, and they have him playing left tackle. I can see them kicking him inside or kicking him to the other tackle position if Penei Sewell falls into their lap. The only Tua has weapons at this point. He has Will Fuller. He has Devontae Parker. He has Gesicki. They need to get a running game, and they need to protect him in order to properly evaluate him. And I cannot see them picking a running back at 6. So pick the best offensive lineman there is, and give Tua 0 excuses to perform poorly next season.
I don't think their offensive line is that bad. It is hard to know what the front office is thinking, but at the same time, this is almost like the Jamar Chase pick that I had to the Giants, where like I kind of feel like there could be a scenario there where that happens, where it's like not necessarily a huge position of need, just like kind of middle of the road, but geez, with the talent sitting there, you got to take him. And like I just said with the last pick, I don't want people to twist that and say, oh, geez, well, if you're going to say it for the Giants, why does it not work for the Bengals? Well, because the Bengals have opportunities to take great players at multiple positions, whereas the Giants and this situation as well, not really as much, where they could go to another position and still get a great player that they need. You're getting a great player at a position that you somewhat need, as opposed to really needing it, but there's no option for anybody that you really need.
Yes. Yeah. And at 7, he's fallen this far. So the Detroit Lions get their next Megatron and Kyle Pitts. And Lions fans, if you think that he's going to replace TJ Hawkinson, he isn't. He's going to be your new wide receiver 1 at this point. You lost Marvin Jones and Kenny Galladay, and you get Megatron 2.0 here with Kyle Pitts. I if this happens, I would absolutely love it. Absolutely love it.
Very exciting. I would be interested to see this. No, well, I mean, I'm interested to see whoever goes to Detroit, because what's going to happen is whatever player goes to Detroit, as long as it's not an offensive tackle, which we can't rule out because they literally could draft any position with how their roster is. But any skill position player is going to be really exciting to see go to Detroit, because they're guaranteed like gonna get the ball, because
yes,
just come on. But then again, also because Kyle Pitts, if a team, Detroit or whoever, is willing to put him at receiver, it's just as interesting, but it changes why it's intriguing. And yeah, it would be exciting to see.
I think that this is just something that Dan Campbell would do, because he said that he wants his receivers to block, and I can't imagine him like taking Kyle Pitts with his frame that he has. Not that Kyle Pitts has a poor frame, it's just as like a blocking tight end, which I think Dan Campbell would want, and what he gets with TJ Hawkinson, but he also gets Hawkinson's receiving ability as well. He'd say, all right, Kyle, you're going to be our number 1 receiver, but when we run the ball, I want you to block downfield. And if you don't do that, then I don't know what to say. But he knows that he can't, because he's seen him line up in line at tight end at Florida sometimes and block. So he knows he can block downfield.
Do you remember what position Dan Campbell coached?
Oh, tight end.
Yeah. Hesitant to say that he would move him away from his favorite position.
Well, he also played tight end as well. I can't see him. I can't see Detroit looking at Kyle Pitts and not saying, "Come on, man, move him out wide. Come on, we got our new Megatron." So I'd love that pick for the Lions at 7. At 8, I know that you're not a big fan of this, and I can completely understand it too. But Rashawn Slater out of Northwestern going to the Panthers at 8. This is the same thing for Tua here with the Penei Sewell pick. If you properly want to evaluate Sam Darnold, and I can agree with you with where you were with the weapons that the Panthers have, DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, Christian McCaffrey. If you could get another receiver in there like Jalen Waddle, like Devontae Smith, and give Sam Darnold no excuses, I can completely understand that. But by bringing in Rashawn Slater, you are shoring up that offensive line. They had, I think, 2 retirements this offseason happen. So even if you don't want him to play left tackle or right tackle, which I know those spots are kind of shored up, you can move him inside for as long as you want him to, because I know that a big knack on him is his height. I don't care about that, but he's a phenomenal tackle. If you aren't convinced with him at tackle, he can move inside. have him play there, give Sam Darnold the protection he needs to make plays to get it to those playmakers, even if they aren't on the same tier as a Devontae Smith or Jalen Waddle.
Well, I'm not going to disagree with you here. From what I said, no, I'd say neither of us drafted their biggest need. I wouldn't say neither of us did it. So I'm not going to disagree with you with that because I don't think receiver is their biggest need, and I don't think tackle is their biggest need either. Actually, I like both their tackles, though. That's the problem of why I couldn't draft a tackle for them, because I actually like both of them. He is very good though, so I wouldn't be too upset to have that pick no matter what. I would say that I'm trying to remember back, and I'm sure there's players I'm forgetting now that I'm not looking at the team on a piece of paper on the full roster online or whatever. But I feel like the real position that, I'm really hesitant to say this because I don't want to be completely wrong, but I feel like the position that I was remembering just being like pretty much atrocious for Carolina was corner. But the idea of how deep the corner position is kind of played a factor in my reasoning why not to do that, because I thought, well, receivers are almost all gone. Sorry, not all gone, but just this guy's insane, and then we could get another solid corner later in the draft still.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can understand that. At 9, I have the Denver Broncos taking Michael McCorkle-Jones out of Bama. I can also see a team jumping up here to get Mac Jones. He will be the last quarterback of the 5 available, and he's almost making it out of the top 10. I can't see Denver being convinced with Drew Lock. They want to bring in competition. They haven't done that well. They didn't do it well last season by bringing in competition for him. Mac Jones will actually provide competition to push Drew Lock, push him out, hopefully, for them if they're going to spend a top 10 pick on him. And maybe they can trade off Drew Lock day 2 to get a 3rd round, 4th round pick at that point. I don't know, but I think Mac Jones would be a good guy for them. They need a guy that can get the ball to their playmakers, because Denver probably has some of the best playmakers in the entire league, and Drew Lock isn't doing his job of just getting the ball to them, and Mac Jones can do a lot more than just get the ball to them, and he could do it right away. So I like him going to Denver.
That is actual full name?
Yeah, Michael McCorkle-Jones.
Really? That's his middle name?
Yeah, his middle name's McCorkle.
Wow. That's awesome. I'm still upset with this. Oh geez. Now we both got him going to Denver. I'm really nervous about coaching in Denver. I don't like that my favorite player has to go to, let's see, with where you said Atlanta, you said Jacksonville, you said New York, you said San Francisco.
49ers. Yeah.
I'm like so upset that like I feel that my quarterback is going to get the worst coaching. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I
don't know. Haven't heard Vic Fangio being much of a QB whisperer.
No, hopefully Denver figures something out. I don't know, but they need a guy that can get the ball to playmakers. Mac Jones will do that more than efficiently.
But they got loads of talent though, so I mean,
yeah,
there's kind of some helpful pieces. But I mean, come on, San Fran is the best spot in the world. I'll be so happy to be wrong if Mac Jones goes to San Francisco, because he'll look like a god immediately.
Yeah. At 10, I got Patrick Surtain the second going to the Cowboys. This like I said last episode, this just seems like a pick that's set in stone, and it's this deep into the draft that it's really weird to have a pick like 10 just consensus. Oh yeah, Surtain the second's going there.
I agree. Easy.
Yeah, it's just an easy pick to make. Cowboys fans have seen this pick made 1,000 times in every mock draft. So, there's not much to say that hasn't already been said. He will shore up that secondary, and him and Trevon Diggs will go back to that Bama tandem.
Definitely.
At 11, I got J.C. Horn going to the Giants. The Giants have done not all they could, but they've done a lot in the offseason to make their offense good and serviceable for Daniel Jones to not have any excuses. Now, their defense, I think the front seven for their defense is pretty solid. Linebackers pretty weak. Uh, could I see them taking Micah Parsons here? Yes, but when J.C. Horn's right there, and J.C. Horn to me is my number one corner, uh, I would just love the pick here. He's got great hands. He's gonna bring a lot of boom. He's gonna uh bring a lot of juice to that secondary, and that's something they need. They did not force a lot of turnovers last season, and I could see J.C. Horn playing hard, forcing fumbles, getting interceptions, doing it all. And that's kind of what they need in that secondary because they don't have that. They have Peppers, but besides him, they don't really have a guy that brings juice. And Peppers hasn't really brought juice since he was in Cleveland.
He's gonna wear number 5, I think. I think he's gonna change it. I'm not sure. Any player that wants to change his jersey number has to pay for him. But I mean, that number 5 on Jabril Peppers is something that I would be really excited to see, actually. Whereas most players, I'm like, I don't really want to see a single-digit jersey number. Yeah, Jabril Peppers, I do though. Yeah, I got to be honest. I like most of the Giants' secondary players, even though like there's not a high opinion of them. I actually like most of them. I think their secondary was probably actually most of the reason that their defense was so good last year, because it really did keep them in a lot of games seemingly at the end of the season. They were keeping teams not scoring too many points, and I don't think corner's that weak for them. I had them going receiver just because Jamar Chase was still on the board with how I had everything falling. But if Chase is off the board... If Chase is off the board, yeah, I'm sorry. What receivers are left? You didn't pick the either two yet, right?
Nope.
Yeah. So, I don't know. They may not fall in love with either of them as much. Then I'd definitely be considering a linebacker for them over corner. Just like looking at the roster. But maybe they value corner more than... Maybe they don't think their corners are as good as I do.
I just view him as a very Joe Judge kind of guy, hard nosed, gonna go in there,
great.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what's tough here. I mean, like, yeah, this is another guy that's like a freaking great player. So if they really want a great player, then yeah, go ahead.
At 12, I have the Eagles taking Devontae Smith. They need to give Jalen Hurts some kind of weapon to evaluate, even though he isn't the starting quarterback now. You need to give him some weapons that aren't Greg Ward, someone that didn't play quarterback in college. And Devontae Smith, he's a playmaker. I'm not going to deny that. I don't think his size is phenomenal, but he is a playmaker, and he will go out there and he will make plays for Jalen Hurts. The two worst teammates at Bama, I don't know how often they played with each other because Jalen Hurts kind of kicked out the door there towards the end, but the dude's just I'm gonna say it again, he's just a playmaker, and the Eagles need one of those. I don't think the Eagles have had one of those since T.O. was there, so yeah.
What do you mean by that?
That they have not had as a receiver? They had Darren Sproles.
You wouldn't count Deshaun Jackson? No.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's my first thought when I think Eagles. I think 2010 Eagles. So I think D-Jax, LaShawn McCoy, and Mike Vick. But like that kind of just like if I'm going to pick a receiver here just to send him to the Eagles, I kind of just want it to be Jalen Waddle just because I love the idea of having a speed guy on the Eagles. But also I love the idea of them getting a receiver here. It makes sense. Like with mine, it was just terrible luck that every receiver went before they got to the board, which would suck. But I do think it would be hilarious if their first receiver was like Elijah Moore or something. That would be absolutely hilarious if they actually got stuck with that. Yeah, no, this is the right pick. It's not complicated. If one of those top 3 receivers is on the board and Philadelphia is sitting there with their pick available, they have to pick him because they just look like idiots if they don't. I mean, it's such a weak position on their team.
Yes. they can't risk making another Jalen Reagor type decision and just not that they passed on a receiver, but they took Jalen Reagor before Justin Jefferson. That's not Jalen Reagor's fault at all. It's really hard to be compared to a guy that wins Rookie of the Year after you, even though Justin Jefferson was not as highly touted by many, right, Hayden?
I'm a big Jalen Reagor kind of guy.
Okay. So they need to hit with a receiver here, and if Devontae Smith does not work out, I don't think anyone will blame the Eagles on taking the Heisman receiver here and hoping that he pans out. No one can really blame them.
Yep, that's the nice thing about picking a guy like that. I mean, there's a lot of guys like that where it's like Jacksonville. Jacksonville has two things here. It's like I'm just using them as an example for this. It's like literally everybody says that you're supposed to take Trevor Lawrence. You can't make the wrong decision by taking Trevor Lawrence because if he's great and it's perfect. But if he's bad, like everybody said I was supposed to take him. What do you mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the same type of pick here.
Yeah. At 13, I have the Chargers shoring up that offensive line and getting Tevin Jenkins, the tackle out of Oklahoma State. He's your second tackle.
Yeah, I think
all your
so.
ranking. I think he'll be great for the Chargers. I mean, they need to have someone. They're one piece away on that O line. I think they brought in Corey Linsley. Pouncey retired, so I could see them maybe reaching on Elijah Vera Tucker here. I just can't picture that though when Tevin Jenkins is still on the board. He's going to protect you against all types of what's his name? It's leaving me.
Bosa's?
No.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
The football team guy. The football
Chase
team
Young?
guy.
No, that's
Chase
Rashawn.
Young.
That's Rashawn Slater's game.
Tevin Jenkins is also good at that, though.
Oh yeah, no, I know, but it was just so obvious that when he played Chase Young in college, it was ridiculous. That's why I want Rashawn Slater to get drafted by the Eagles, Giants, or Cowboys, just because he could go against him twice a year. Yeah. But yeah, no, you're right. I mean, Tevin Jenkins is awesome too.
Yeah, so they shore up that offensive line. That's really the only spot they need. Maybe they could take Waddle here, get a wide receiver too, but they have Mike Williams and Keenan Allen.
Dude, that would actually be a really good compliment, though, to the play styles of Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen, great route runner. Mike Williams, jump ball kind of body guy. Yeah, Waddle, speed. I mean, then they've got like every facet of the game covered. And then they got their behemoth Donald Parham at tight end.
Oh yeah, I was really between those like Tevin Jenkins and Waddle here, and I just thought. I think if I was the Chargers or anyone in the GM chair, I would elect to protect my quarterback instead of piling on with the shiny toys.
No, yeah, completely. The line is significantly worse than the receiving core is. It's definitely the right pick to pick the lineman. It just would be a lot of fun if they picked Waddle with Herbert's arm.
Yeah. At 14, I have the Minnesota Vikings taking Kwity Paye. With Danielle Hunter's future in question in Minnesota, they don't know what he's going to do with him. He's hurt. They might trade him. Kwity Paye is going to add a lot to that D-line that they do not have because everyone on that D-line is like over 300 pounds and is just a pure bull rush kind of guy. I'm going to run you over. Kwity Paye has more technique to what he does. He has more speed to what he does. He uses his hands well. He's going to bring a completely different element to what they have on their D-line, to what they've had on their D-line over the past couple of years, because it seems like they've always elected to go for the big, strong, tough guys that are just going to run you over, except in Danielle Hunter, so he could be a good Danielle Hunter replacement if they elect to trade him. If not, he'll be a great partner for Danielle Hunter on the other side of the D-line.
I just didn't see this coming at all. Okay.
Really?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
No, I mean, I don't know. I feel like I looked at the Vikings really quick. They were one of like the easiest teams I like had making a decision. I was just like, yeah, tackle.
Mm, okay. I can see that as well. I just think their defense could also use the help, and I don't think there's really a decent like I think it would be a reach to take Darisaw here. I'm not very high on Darisaw.
I'm not either. Just guessing what other people would do.
Mm. I still think the Vikings would take Kwity Paye here.
Okay.
At 15, I have the New England Patriots taking Koromoa. Now, you may be thinking, Micah Parsons is the number one linebacker in the class. Everyone thinks that. I don't think Bill Belichick thinks that. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah is the kind of guy that Bill Belichick wants. He is a strong guy who can get sideline to sideline. He can cover anyone. He forces turnovers. He's played some special teams in college. Micah Parsons is just way too raw, I think, for Bill Belichick to even waste his time with him if he can't cover. Because I think Bill Belichick would say, what's the point of me putting you on the field if you can't even cover anyone? There's no point you learning at that point. You want to learn by us losing games? Nah. So he's going to take Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. He's going to stun the draft here and get his guy.
You're completely accurate in saying that Belichick has some weird ways of going about who he's picking. So him taking not the consensus top guy at the linebacker position wouldn't shock me, but it wouldn't shock me if he didn't take the top consensus guy at any position here. I mean, he's drafting deep two players in like the first or second round last year. I can't remember what pick it was, but I mean, it was like, really? It's kind of like, okay. But yeah, I mean, geez, this is our athletic freak. We love him. Like, I would not be like, oh, geez, that's crazy that he went before Micah Parsons. I just think that other people are going to pick Micah Parsons before they'll pick him. If there's a team that would pick him first, though, New England seems like a solid candidate. There may be a few others, but New England's definitely a solid candidate.
I can already hear Rich Eisen going, whoa, 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 as this pick gets announced.
Yeah, no, I didn't actually like take a chance to like jump in and like look back through the Patriots roster because of my Dolphins trade I had with them. Plus, then they didn't have their second round pick with that trade I had. So it was really just, I don't know if I said this the other day or not, but I don't think Belichick likes Mac Jones, and that was a part of my reason for
you did say that.
Why I thought they would trade up because it's like, okay, well, there's only one quarterback left that we can get. We don't know when he's going to go, and they want to trade up then. And since I did that, I didn't really get to look at the roster again. So I don't know. You're probably I'm not thinking of too many names at the linebacker position that come to mind for the Patriots, so it seems right.
Mm-hmm. Dante Hightower is the only guy, and he opted out last season, and their defense as a whole is fairly weak. So I think this is a very solid pick. At 16, I have the Cardinals taking an offensive lineman here and Elijah Vera Tucker. The Cardinals need to protect Kyler Murray. He is running for his life every time he is on the field. And it's fine to run around and make some plays sometimes, but he just gets walloped. And that's not going to be sustainable. I think Cliff Kingsbury has 1 year left to prove that he is that guy as the coach or as the Cardinals coach. So bring in an offensive lineman, help protect your quarterback so he can make plays like he can. It's awesome to make plays outside the tackles, but when you're doing it every single play because people are just bull rushing you up the middle, I think their tackles are pretty solid. It's just the interior of that line is a bunch of like no names to me. So I think Elijah Vera Tucker, the best interior offensive lineman in this draft, would be great.
I didn't really know that people were. I don't know what people are considering him. That's fine though. Yeah, Cardinals O-line. I'm cool with that.
Okay. And then I have the Raiders at 17. This just seems like kind of a Raiders pick here. them taking Christian Darrisaw. Now, I'm
I
not saying
want the Raiders to pick the good guy for once. That's why I put Tevin Jenkins, and you're still giving him the one that's the crappiest version of a high-ranked tackle. I want the Raiders to get a pick right for once, but no, yeah, you're hitting the nail on the head right here with some ranked high guy that they're gonna pick the worst version of.
Yeah, it'll be the right pick based on position, but the guy, they should just trade up a couple picks, like do something to get Tevin Jenkins or Rashawn Slater, if they can. But Darrisaw falls into their lap here, and Mayak's gonna pull the trigger because he feels like, well, we gotta, and I can't see them taking the guy that's going to be next on this list because they already took a guy very similar to him last year.
No, they're gonna.
Yeah. Oh, actually, they might. If they did, that would be hilarious. But at 18, I have the Miami Dolphins getting their weapon that people are saying that they should take at 6. With not that they're saying they should take Jaylen Waddle, but just a weapon in general. They're going to get him at 18, get a weapon at 18 in Jaylen Waddle. Will Fuller is on a 1-year deal, and he also will not be playing for like the first 2 or 3 games of the season. Jaylen Waddle is very similar to Will Fuller in the fact that they have terrific straight line speed. They could shake guys off with a very quick move, yeah, and they're just very similar. And Jaylen Waddle can learn from Will Fuller for a year, and then they can move on from Will Fuller or extend him and just have both of those guys be their 1 and 2. Well, Devontae Parker's there, so I guess 2 and 3, and just send them deep every single time.
Waddle is like so strange to me. I have no idea if he's going to be great or if he's going to be terrible. And I really don't think that there's going to be much room in between.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know which it's going to be.
I can get behind that.
I'm more confident in Kadarius Toney, though.
Oh, yeah. I don't see the Dolphins taking Kadarius Toney here though. One because
no. No one's gonna take Kadarius Toney before they take Jaylen Waddle.
Yes,
but I mean, like, I don't know. I just feel better about Kadarius Toney than I do Jaylen Waddle.
Oh, I understand that. At 19, I have Ron Rivera getting his Luke Kuechly here in Micah Parsons. He is very, very raw. If there's anyone that can shape him, I don't know how big of a role Riverboat Ron played in shaping Luke Kuechly into who he was as a player. But if I'm going to just assign credit to him and the staff that he had working under him to make Luke Kuechly the player he was, you have all the tools with Micah Parsons to mold into whatever you want. He's a blank canvas. He's fallen this far. I cannot see him making it in like past the this deep into the playoff teams. So, and this is the first playoff team, the football team. Yeah, I would really enjoy seeing Micah Parsons with the football team.
Oh yeah, that would be exciting. I wonder. Yeah, no, this is interesting. The thing I think about here is just the fact that the defense was already so good, and it's
yes, no, I completely agree with that, and
I don't know how the coaches are going to see that, and it's going to be like, even if he's here, it's like, man, he's so good and he could make our defense even better. But at some point, we have to realize that we got to try to put points on the board. And that's the only reason I didn't go defense for the football team, is because I'm just like, I feel like they're going to be too far into like the idea of just like, we have to put more points on the board.
Mm-hmm. No, I understand that too, but I can also see them falling into the ideology, if Parsons falls this far, is just, we're already great at something. Why don't we become elite at it and bring him in? with his tools that he has, and with Ron Rivera being able to do what he's done with a bunch of linebackers that he's worked with.
No, yeah, I mean, once again, another pick where it's like it's such a good player that there's no way anybody could knock it if they made it. But
Mm-hmm.
it's just it's so funny with the draft. It's just there always has to be guys who fall that shouldn't fall just because
Yes.
of how things play out, and it's interesting to see who it is. And honestly, I'm just saying, even if he makes it here, all the way down to 19, there is potential that he could still fall further.
Yes. 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 I think the guy that you had going to the football team in your mock draft was this guy, right?
Yep.
Rashad Bateman. I love that picture of him. Uh, out of Minnesota, the Bears need to give whoever is going to be their quarterback, Andy Dalton, Nick Foles, Kyle Trask, Davis Mills, whoever, they need to give him some weapons.
What
And
if it's Davis Mills?
Allen Robinson looks like he wants out. They gave him the franchise tag, and he wanted to leave. So if Allen Robinson holds out and they are forced to trade him, you have your new wide receiver one here. If Allen Robinson comes back, then you have a great number two that you can develop into a fantastic number one. I don't think the Bears go wrong here. He is like, they need something on offense. They have Darnell Mooney and they have Allen Robinson, but Allen Robinson does not want to stick around. So,
dude, what if the Bears traded up to number 4, and then we're like, we've got Mooney, we've got Allen Robinson for this year. We just need one more piece to make them both elite. It's Kyle Pitts to pull the coverage away.
Jimmy
don't pick a QB. They're just like, we trusted Dalton. Kyle Pitts will take us there.
Jimmy G just didn't have, or Jimmy Graham didn't have the speed that he used to.
No, I mean,
so we need to bring Kyle Pitts.
I was just like thinking about their offense while you're saying this, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, could you imagine if they were like, we haven't had a tight end this good since Ditka? It's just like, yeah, Pitts, bring him on in, trade with the Falcons.
Yeah, that would be insane. But I have Bateman going there at 20. I think it'd be the smart pick for them to do. Their defense is so good that I can't see them taking a guy in this spot with the guys that are left on the board being like, oh yeah, we need Ojulari here to complement Khalil Mack.
The what's oh jeez, sorry. I'm forgetting what I'm saying. Keep going.
All right. At 21 for me, I have Greg Newsome the second. I can't remember if Xavier Rhodes, I think he re-signed with the Colts. Either way, that's not a good number one corner. They need something in that secondary. Their safeties are good. Did Malik Hooker re-sign? I think he did. They have Malik Hooker. They have and that's it.
I told you the Colts are a bunch of no names.
Yes.
Not bad, they're just no names.
It's not bad. They just don't have a lot of names. But I think the only like serviceable guy in their secondary right now, Xavier Rhodes is serviceable. It's just he's very slow and really his best days are behind him. Greg Newsome is a very physical corner. Could bring something to that defense that they need. They need someone that can jam guys at the line, that can keep up with guys, because Xavier Rhodes can't do that anymore, and be able to go one-on-one and not have to utilize safety help every single time. And that gives the Colts something more exotic looks in defense to give teams when you have a guy that could just take receivers one-on-one, which is what Greg Newsome the second can do.
Yeah, I don't know how. Once again, found him late. I don't know why. Like, he just seemingly didn't exist. Like when we first looked at corners, they just came out of nowhere. At least to me. I'm really not putting him in my top 5, but I think he's about 6th for me. And
Mhm.
That's because all the kids are up in the top 5. Caleb Farley, and then Elijah Molden, just because God at the nickel position. But yeah, he's probably number 6. I think he's a good
Yeah,
player, but honestly, if I was picking a corner here, I'd pick a different guy. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Colts picked him.
no. Yeah, he's not in my top 5 either. I just think this would be a pick that the Colts convinced themselves to make because of their lack of physicality in their defense and also the need for a number 1 corner. Uh, at 22, this is kind of a shocker. The Tennessee Titans, they're going to go edge here. They're going to double down. They got Bud Dupree, but they're going to get Jalen Phillips. He's one of the premier edge guys left in this class after Kwity Paye. Really the last decent one. He'd be a great compliment. They don't have Jadeveon Clowney, even though they only had Jadeveon Clowney for like 3 games last season. He's going to really beef up that defense even more. I know they could go O-line here with them not having Isaiah Wynn now, but I just, with him still on the board, I don't think they would be stupid enough to reach for one of the Moore receivers here. Not that it would even be a reach, because those guys are considered in this range to be solid picks.
Wait, you didn't take Tony off the board yet.
No. I don't think they would go Tony here either with Phillips still there.
Yeah. No, but you really think like not us. You think the consensus from NFL teams is that the Moores are better than Kadarius Toney?
Mm-hmm. As like number 2 receivers and not just gadget guys, yeah.
What are they?
I think they're also gadget guys. I think NFL teams think that they're number 2 receivers.
Yeah. Sorry for butting in.
No, but that's what I think of Jalen Phillips. He's very solid.
Oh, okay.
Go.
Sorry. I thought you.
Go.
No, I just thought you were. And I thought you were just saying you were good talking. I was gonna say something about Jalen Phillips now.
Oh yeah, sure, go.
Yeah. No, I don't. Dude, they were the worst team on the defensive line. All of last season. I don't. Even though they spend $85 million on a 5-year contract, which is absolutely moronic. Even though they decided to do that, they still do need another defensive end because, good Lord, Bud Dupree is not going to give you your $85 million worth at all, so you definitely still need a guy opposite him. Yeah, no, they still do need a second defensive edge player because they didn't have either of them filled out last year. And B is you're probably going to be extremely underwhelmed for how much you just paid Bud Dupree if you get him no help. Because honestly, I don't think too highly of Bud Dupree for what they gave him. Holy crap, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I think Jalen Phillips has more draw for double teams than Bud Dupree does just flat out in his rookie season. I just can't. I can't believe they gave him that much money.
Dude, I will never understand the salary cap. Meanwhile, Desmond King's getting $3 million a year.
At 23, I have the Jets taking Azeez Ojulari. The Jets, we said this in the last episode, they have the luxury of taking anyone here, and right now Azeez Ojulari is the best edge player that's still on the board. So take him, add something to your defense, because they right now got a whole lot of nothing. Pierre Desir, if he's still even on the team.
Marcus May.
Oh, Marcus May, they franchise tagged him.
Don't knock Marcus May. Marcus May is the only good player on that team.
Yeah, sorry. They get a solid edge rusher in Azeez Ojulari. You and I are both not that high on him. I think he was your highest ranked edge. I know that I had Jalen Phillips and Kwity Paye listed as edge guys because that's what I think they are in my opinion, but you had them as interior defensive linemen. You had Azeez Ojulari as your top rated edge player. I had him as my bottom ranked edge player. But if the edge position is going to go in the direction that it is in now, where you're just going to have guys run around people and use no technique at all, if Robert Saleh thinks he could do something with that, Azeez Ojulari's his guy.
Two things. You only took Azeez Ojulari here because you don't want him to go to the Bills, so you need to get him off the board before he gets to the Bills. That's the first reason you did this. The second thing that's an issue here is the fact that Caleb Farley is still on the board and the Jets are taking Azeez Ojulari instead.
They have Marcus May.
Come on. No. Don't say that.
You'll see. You'll see. Just calm down. Dude, let the mock play out. You said at the start of this episode that this is 100% right. So just calm down, let it play out.
I know, and when it's 100% right, that's cool. And then I'll just have to scream at the Jets even louder because it's like, dude, I want some competition. Like now the Bills are going to be the only good team in the AFC East, except for the Patriots because they got the best athlete in the draft.
Oh, man. At 24, I have the...
Wait. Hold on. Before you get to this pick.
Yeah.
Belichick likes putting those linebackers at fullback.
Oh, yeah. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah is going to have some nice rushing highlights.
That would be awesome. Okay.
But I have the Pittsburgh Steelers falling into... I said this during your mock because you also have Najee Harris going here to the Steelers. The Steelers are going to fall into the trap that the Giants fell in when they drafted Saquon Barkley. And that's, we're just a running back away. No, you're not. The Steelers are not a running back away. They need like 2 new tackles because Villanueva's probably leaving. They need a new center. I think they need a new guard now because they're just poaching backups from all the other AFC North teams right now to be starters for them. And that's like... No one's going to be able to run behind that. James Conner couldn't run behind it, and you let him go to the Cardinals. And now Najee Harris is going to come in here, and he's not going to be able to do anything. Maybe he'll be a great receiver out of the backfield because you're going to throw it 70 times a game with Big Ben. But it's just not going to be sustainable, and I can totally see the Steelers falling into this trap where they think that they're a running back away when they are more than that.
Man. The Giants must be like smoking some hefty crack to think that when they were picking in the top 5 of that draft with Saquon that they were a running back away. I don't think they thought that. I just think that they value a running back highly.
Yes, no, I shouldn't say that. The Steelers think that. The Giants did not think that. The Giants just were saying, well, if we get Eli another weapon, maybe we can make it one last run for the Super Bowl.
Since Bell has left, this team has felt so like running back starved that I don't care that they need linemen. Just pick a good running back in the first round and then take your next 6 picks, assuming that they actually have their next 6 picks or more, whatever, and just spend the rest on O-linemen, but get the running back first because, geez, there hasn't been any production there. I'm not knocking them for taking the running back. You're going to be mad at them. I'm not because I like the top 2 running backs a lot.
Oh, I like them both too. I just don't want to see Najee Harris go to die in Pittsburgh when Big Ben retires after this season.
I don't want to see a running back in the top half of the first round ever again, but a running back at 24, that's plenty deep. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't want to see Najee Harris go to die in Pittsburgh. That's all. That's the main reason why I'm mad at this. At 25, I have the Jags taking Trevan Jordan. They need help everywhere. So get the consensus best safety. You and I both think this. Think that they'll go in this direction. We both think that Trevan Jordan is not the consensus number. Well, he's not consensus in our opinion, but he's very high up for all the other teams.
Actually, anti-consensus because neither of us put him at 1.
Yes. I don't really have much more to say about him. I think if you're the Jags, you're taking him. It's obvious. I think he's been mocked here at like 80%. I'm just throwing a number out there. I don't even know, but like 80% of all mock drafts have him going to the Jags at 25. So I don't know. It just seems like a very Jags pick.
With their roster, yeah.
At 26, I have the Cleveland Browns getting Zaven Collins here. Their interior of their D-line could also use help. I could see them taking Barmore as well. I wouldn't be mad at that because that's a big hole for them. But when Zaven Collins is on the board still, I think you got to pull the trigger here. You could bring back Sheldon Richardson on a cheaper contract if he can't find any other teams, which he hasn't found any other teams yet, and I can understand that because they're probably waiting till the end of the draft. But if he doesn't finds another team by the end of the draft or after the draft's over, then bring him back on a cheaper contract or draft interior with your second round pick. I really like Zaven Collins, and I think he'd be a great fit for Cleveland because they need a solid coverage linebacker, and they get it with him. They need a new Joe Schobert.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Collins was my number 2 linebacker, with Parsons being 3, and yeah. No, sorry. Actually, I put Nick Bolton ahead of Micah Parsons apparently when I did this. But yeah, Micah Parsons is 4, Nick Bolton's 3, Zaven Collins is 2, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah is 1. I like all those guys a ton. More than like there's a significant drop off after all those 4 are gone. But with that said, sorry, this isn't a point against you at all. I just saw a mock yesterday, or either yesterday or this morning, where somebody picked Zaven Collins ahead of Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, and I did not like that at all.
No, I don't see that happening. If they're both at this spot, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah should go first, and then Zaven Collins should fall still. But with the Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah and Micah Parsons off the board, take Zaven Collins, get yourself a solid linebacker that you have not had since Joe Schobert.
I'm just gonna say this really quick. I didn't expect Barmore. Like, I thought I was kind of being stupid with how much I was pushing Barmore down the board. Like, I don't know if he'll fall that much, just in terms of his actual like talent and what other people think of him. I don't really know for sure necessarily, but geez, we're getting close to the Bills pick, and that's a guy that I would actually be happy to get on our team. I know I don't think you would, but
for the Ravens at 27, I have them picking Jason Owe, losing Yannick Ngakoue, losing I can picture his face. I can't remember his name.
The Bowser, the Pernell McPhee.
No, he signed with the Pats.
Judon?
Yeah, Judon. Losing Judon. They need someone to have an edge presence for them. Jason Owe can do that. He has more power to his game than Ojulari does, and that's kind of what the Ravens need from their ends. They have that from Campbell, and they had that with Ngakoue. So just having guys that bully tackles and can use technique when they need to, because Jason Owe has some technique. He can use it. He doesn't just purely run around the guys, though that is a big part of his game. He would be a decent fit for the Ravens here, and with them having 2 bottom first-round picks here, I don't really see them staying in place in this spot either way. I see them trading up now. I didn't do any trades in this, obviously, but I could see them trading up and taking a higher-end receiver in the middle of the first round now. But how it stands, I see them taking Jason Owe here.
Okay. You don't... Okay, so I'm guessing the next pick is receiver for them? Or no?
We'll find out. At 28, out of Texas A&M, I have the New Orleans Saints taking quarterback Kellen Mond. I know that you're not a big fan of that, but you get the best of both worlds with the Saints quarterbacks with Kellen Mond. You get Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill all wrapped up into one here. I would love this. I would run outside and start screaming if the Saints took Kellen Mond. It'd be great. It'd be great.
I hope that hang on, I'm just going to find my quarterback rankings just to figure out how many guys I would rather have instead of Kellen Mond go to the Saints. No, I'm kidding.
If only this was your mock draft. If only this was your mock draft.
No, this isn't really something I thought about. I didn't really think that the Saints would be considering quarterback. They could be sneaking it in. You may be right.
I
You may
think
be
they
right.
could. Kellen Mond brings a lot that Sean Payton would like. He's a power runner, which we both saw when we watched him. He like all of his plays he runs up the middle. I could also see Sean Payton just taking Jamie Newman in the 6th round, saying, "All right, Jameis, compete with him," and then somehow getting Jamie Newman the starting role, and be like, "All right, we're just gonna run quarterback power with him now."
That's
But
that's the guy's name that I was looking for. That's the reason I grabbed the paper.
yeah, but Kellen Mond brings a lot. He has a strong arm. He's fast. Sean Payton can do a lot with him, while not having to sacrifice the passing game like he would with Taysom Hill, or sacrificing any sort of like design quarterback run like he would with Jameis. You get the best of both worlds with Kellen Mond, like I said.
Yeah.
At 29, I have the Green Bay Packers taking high school quarterback Kadarius Toney.
Did not know that. That's interesting.
The Packers need another playmaker opposite Devontae Adams, and like you said, he can run faster behind the line of scrimmage than Devontae Adams can. So they could probably scheme him open some decent plays. Yeah, he brings something that Aaron Rodgers hasn't really had ever in his career. So
I'm ready for this. This better happen.
Be interesting.
This is the pick. This is the pick that like I need to happen. Like, come on, man. I love this player, and he can't come to my team. So send him to like Green Bay, where he'll get like maximum opportunity.
I need this pick to happen, because if it doesn't and he falls to the Bills, I will cry if we don't take him.
But we can't take him. That's the problem.
You're right. We can't take him because he's gone. And also, at 30, the Buffalo Bills are taking Travis Etienne, running back, Clemson. Now, I can understand the turmoil with a lot of Bills fans and with people in the media of saying you can't fall into the trap of thinking you're a running back away. Well, the Bills aren't a running back away. They're a playmaker and some defensive pieces away. Now, I think you get those defensive pieces later in the draft, but you get your playmaker right now in the 1st round, get a 5th-year option on him as well with Travis Etienne. He has home run speed. He is a great receiver out of the backfield. He is exactly what I've seen Javonte Williams mocked here for the Bills. I can't see that because he is like a combination of Zach Moss and Devin Singletary. That's what you don't want. You want something completely different, and that's what Travis Etienne is.
You know why I can't see Javonte Williams mocked here?
Because he's a combination of Devin Singletary and Zach
Because
Moss.
he's a guy I don't want, and Etienne is a guy I do want. So
I could.
Yeah, I want Etienne on our team, but at the same time, the issue here is still that I think that for our scheme, our line is good enough where we can't move on from any of our linemen because they're good pass blockers, good enough pass protectors that we can't move on from any of them. But I think our real crappy part of our run game isn't our running backs. I think it's our run blocking. So it's like weighing things out, the positive versus the negative. The other thing here is that we're probably never going to consider a lineman to increase our run game because our pass protection is already good enough, and we're not going to be substituting linemen in to run the ball. So it's just some ridiculous thing here. Geez, with how your stuff has fallen though, holy crap! Farley's still on the board, Barmore's still on the board, Etienne's still on the board. There are so many names that I'm sitting here seeing that if this is the way the draft played out, and then the Bills drafted Javonte Williams instead of a bunch of those guys that I just named, man, that would really suck the life out of me.
Yeah, it was between Etienne and Barmore here for me, and I just think the coaching staff of the Bills is just way too convinced with Ed Oliver blossoming soon to really try to find his replacement already.
Another guy I didn't mention, because we talked about this with I talked about him with the edge players, and then you said you liked him a lot, but Joe Tryon. Yeah, sorry, just a little slow here. Joe Tryon, where would he actually rank in terms of your edge rankings?
probably 3.
Who's that behind?
Jalen Phillips and Peyton Turner.
Peyton Turner is not a name that I know, or at least I don't remember. But all right, I think Jalen Phillips is interesting. So, all right, I'll try on. He's another guy that I would be interested in here, but I don't think that he's rated highly by other people. So I don't know if NFL scouts think highly of him that they would want to pick him here.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, there's a lot of guys that I would like to pick with how your thing is falling. So
Yeah. At 31, I have the Baltimore Ravens replacing Orlando Brown with Alex Leatherwood. They could go receiver here, but I don't think there's really a receiver that they want to take here. So they get Leatherwood out of Bama, sure up the right side of their O-line. They need to get another O-lineman too because they need to find a replacement for Yanda. I don't really think they did that last season or found a decent replacement for him last season. So replace Orlando Brown with the pick you got from him, or like I said before, package this and your pick, move up, get a playmaker for Lamar. I could see that as well. But if they stay, you got to just replace Orlando Brown, and he is, in my opinion, the best option at the moment to replace him.
if the Ravens have 2 first-round picks and don't pick a wide receiver with either of them, I will be in complete shock.
Oh, I will be too. But I just the way everything fell, I couldn't really see them going in that direction. And then wrapping up the first, 32, I have Christian Barmore going to the Buccaneers. You said this when you were talking about your mock. The Buccaneers don't really have any weaknesses when it comes to starters, and when it comes to backups, they don't really have any weaknesses besides quarterback and what did you say, linebacker too?
The two spots that I was looking at besides quarterback for backups were interior defensive line and linebacker. The problem is I was only looking at interior defensive line because some guy's old. I think it's Sue, but I don't even know if he's the interior guy that I'm thinking of. It's still, you still got Vita Vea clogging up the middle though. He was injured though, so those are kind of the two pieces that push together with Sue being old and Vita Vea potentially being injured. And even if he's not injured, just another good second defensive interior player would be good. But also, besides Levante David and Devin White, who are two great players, that's the hard part of this to point out, is a third linebacker could be nice for them as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I looked at their defense, and because that's what I thought their weak part in their game was their defense, which is really weird to say.
9 points in the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
against Kansas City.
Mm-hmm. But you look at it and it's just, they don't have any weaknesses really anywhere. What could they use? They could use another rotation piece with the interior defensive line. Just, keep swapping out Sue and Vita Vea and Barmore then at that point. And they use Vita Vea like more in like obvious run situations kind of, though they do send him as a pass rusher. I think Barmore would be a no-brainer here for them if he falls this far. Just instant impact guy. Tom Brady gets lucky again. Gets probably one of the better defensive players in the draft.
A great receiving option to make him eligible in the red zone.
Oh yeah, dude.
That's why you said Brady's lucky, right? They're gonna get him goal line, and he's gonna be out there at tight end.
Heavy set with Vita Vea and him. So Brady's gonna be really, really fortunate. Then we go to our first round recap. Any picks you want to go back on and talk about for an extra second?
I don't want. I should be rereading everyone to make sure that there's. I mean, we talked about all the guys when they were taken, so that's not really the thing. I'm just really hurt by the fact that you think that this Caleb Farley injury and sitting out. I realize those are two bad things, but I mean, really, I'm gonna have a huge problem with the entire league if Caleb Farley does not get picked in the first round.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just the way things shook out and everything. I could definitely 100,000% see him going in the first round. Just in my vision, I just couldn't see a teams taking the risk on it with the first round pick with the guy that was also available. I think for a lot of teams it would be a coin flip for between Farley and the other guy, but the injury issues for Farley kind of just weighed the coin the other way for the other guy.
You want to talk about Tampa again? Freaking look at them and just go, hey, we've basically got all our starters figured out. Why don't we just take the best player available, who is Caleb Farley, and all of a sudden now they also have a lockdown corner.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I can, like I said, 100,000% see that.
Ridiculous. I mean, the corners are already good, but jeez.
Mm-hmm. Moving on to round 2. At pick 33, I have Caleb Farley going to the Jags. First pick out of the first round. If he gets to this point, I take him, and the Jags are going to, they have a lot of holes to fill. Take the best player available, and that's Caleb Farley. Sure, the injury issues and everything. I don't think the Jags really care at this point. They need an instant impact player, and if Caleb Farley's all good, then he's an instant impact player for them, and they get a number 1 corner immediately. They find their Jalen Ramsey replacement.
I don't know that I say the Jags need a corner this badly, though. If you're gonna say that all these other teams are passing on this corner, I don't know if the Jags would be that. I don't know if the Jags would be the team.
My friend.
I don't
know
have your
cake
if
and eat
the
it too.
Jags would be the team that I go, okay, they finally need a corner. They're the ones that are gonna finally take them off the board.
Well, I'm glad you complained all this time just for you to complain even more once I finally take him.
No, I'm complaining about the fact that you pushed him this far back and then you gave him to a team that half doesn't even need a corner.
I think they do. At 34, I have the Jets taking Asante Samuel Jr. The Jets get a corner. I think you mentioned that you said if the Jets don't take a corner, you would cry or you want better competition in the East. So that happens. They get their pass rusher, and they also get their Rich Sherman mentor E, because that's what I think is going to happen. Whoever they draft to be their number 1 corner or number 2 corner at that point will be Richard Sherman's
not the same
apprentice.
Type of player at all.
No, not the same type of player at all. But
that's why he's going to be a great mentor, because he's going to teach him all the facets of the game that he doesn't have in his game.
Yes.
You're welcome for making that argument for you. You're welcome for pointing out the error in your logic and then fixing it for you too.
Yeah. No problem. At 35, I got Nick Bolton going to the Falcons here. They need to find. Well, Keanu Neal played safety. He's going to move to linebacker with the Cowboys, but that Falcons defense is just atrocious. And if they go with quarterback like I have them, they need to just draft defense for the rest of the draft. Even if they draft Kyle Pitts at 4, they just need to draft defense for the rest of the draft, because yikes, when you look at that unit, it is a sight to see.
Yeah, I agree. I love Nick Bolton.
At 36, I have the Dolphins picking up a premium edge rusher in the eyes of many, Gregory Rousseau. He stays in the same stadium he played in. I think you had Jalen Phillips going to Miami.
Yep.
So I just have the other edge rusher going to Miami.
They have. Yeah. Did they wear the same number?
I think they did. They're both wearing 15.
I was so confused when I was looking at the pictures.
Maybe it's just something. I know that UB has a thing where, during the season, one guy will wear 41. Maybe that's something that they have. I don't know. At 37, I have the Eagles taking Eric Stokes. This just seems like an Eagles pick here with Elisha Molden still on the board. They will take Eric Stokes because they need a number 1 corner. They need anything in their secondary. They got Jalen Hurts, his playmaker. So now let's just not help him at all anymore. Well, not that they're not helping him. They're making the defense better by drafting a prospect, but they're not helping Jalen Hurts directly. They get a number 1 corner now, which they don't really have. The secondary is just terrible to look at. So they get Eric Stokes. He's a playmaker. pick six. He's the pick six god. So, I mean, if they want to score points like that, then Eric Stokes is their guy.
I know that the Eagles could use a corner, but would Eagles fans be that mad if they took a receiver for every pick of every round?
We can't miss on all of them.
It's been hurting for a few years now. It's been tough.
Yeah, ever since Macklin and Jackson left.
Honestly.
Man. At 38, I have the Bengals finally drafting that offensive line help that they didn't get when they took Jamar Chase with Samuel Cosme, tackle out of Texas. I don't think this would be. This is how the Bengals would justify drafting Jamar Chase. We still got a top ranked tackle in the second round, but he's not the top ranked tackle. He is a top ranked tackle, not the top ranked tackle. So, I mean, it's something that they do to mentally justify what they did.
Well, you know a lot about Samuel Cosme, don't you?
Yeah, he was my third ranked offensive tackle, fourth ranked offensive tackle.
You better remember.
Sorry,
Exactly.
he's not.
You
he's
better
not third.
remember
He's not third.
everything about him.
He's not
You
third
better,
because
if there's any more offensive linemen in this second round, I'm gonna need like a deep analysis.
Okay, I'm pretty sure all the offensive linemen that I have left still on this list I did rank. So
Oh, okay.
the Carolina Panthers, I have taken a huge reach here to take a Pat Freiermuth. You wanted the Panthers to get Darnold, another playmaker, in Jaylen Waddle here. And I think that the Panthers are solid at running back and at the receivers position for Darnold. They shore up the offensive line with Slater, and they get him one more weapon with Pat Freiermuth, who looks like he's 57 here in this picture. He's got gray on the sides.
I wasn't even like thinking about it, but now that you pointed out, it's terrible. It really is bad. Oh, geez, that's rough.
So they get Pat Freiermuth, blocker and a receiver. Yeah, they get their Greg Olsen and give Darnold zero excuses. So it's a big reach, but I can see Carolina doing it.
Well, don't worry. It won't be as much of a reach as all the tight ends that I gave out in the second round.
At 40, I have the Broncos taking Jamin Davis, linebacker.
I think I had that one too.
You did. They don't take a linebacker with pick 9, which is where you could kind of see Micah Parsons going. Vic Fangio would be chomping at the bit for that, but they get their franchise quarterback in Mac Jones.
Well, yeah, both our Broncos picks are the same.
Yeah, so Vic Fangio gets Jamin Davis, who you know what you're getting with him. He is a coverage linebacker that you and I both agree doesn't really jump off the page at you when you watch him, but he makes plays, and you can't really deny a guy that makes plays.
And he is better than Jabril Cox.
Yes. And Vic Fangio is a defensive whisperer and does a lot of good things with a lot of defensive players, so I could see him turning Jamin Davis into something that does jump off the page.
That's a good point to make right there, because while as I'm scared to send my favorite quarterback there, you're right. A guy at the linebacker position that doesn't really make my head turn that much. Maybe he'll actually turn into something good in the defensive coached Denver Broncos.
Yeah. Do you like this picture that I found of? It's just a picture of a dirty screen.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, I looked up high school pictures of him, and this was what came up. This is the first picture that came up. So, at 41, Detroit goes receiver again. I know they took Kyle Pitts tight end, but they get their Kenny Galladay and they get their Marvin Jones here with Terrace Marshall. I know Juju was big on, like, this is a big destination that they thought he would land, and they kind of get him because that's what I think Terrace Marshall is. I think he's just a slightly bigger Juju, slightly bigger slot guy, and they have Quintez Cephas and the other guy that you mentioned for your Lions picks, and those are speed guys.
Marvin Hall.
Marvin Hall. Terrace Marshall though I think he'd be considered the number two option at receiver, he would technically just be the third receiver. He'd be lined up in the slot the whole time.
Neither of those names are names that like anybody who follows football on a basic level know at all. Like nobody knows who Marvin Hall or Quintus Cephas are.
Yeah, but that's what Detroit has. But now they get Megatron and they get I guess you could kind of consider
Nate Burleson.
They get Megatron and Nate Burleson here. At 42, I have the Giants finally taking Joe Tryon off the board. They go defense 2 times in the first. Well, they go defense once in the first, once in the second. I think at first I had Greg Rousseau going here, and then I had him take earlier. Joe Tryon fell here. Joe Tryon's very, very solid. They don't have a lot of guys on that D line. They have I can't remember his name, but
Leonard Williams.
Yeah, Leonard Williams. They have Leonard Williams, but other than that, not a lot of premier guys on the edge, and Joe Tryon can become that. He's a very Joe Judge kind of guy. I said that for both of the guys, but he's very hard-nosed, gonna get you guy, and that's what Joe Judge seems like he'd like.
You're sitting here drafting receivers for Detroit all day. You're talking about a coach's player. Like, oh, the Giants are the only guys that are going to pick guys that their coach will like.
You did not watch. You didn't watch Terrace Marshall then if you're saying that he is not a Dan Campbell kind of guy.
You're exactly right. I have not been watching the downfield blocking of the wide receivers to rank them. I haven't been. I will admit it.
I'm not even the downfield blocking, just the willingness to go over the middle and make plays.
Yeah, Devontae Smith did that too, and you didn't like him at all.
Well, why would they take Devontae Smith when Kyle Pitts is there? Whatever. We're moving on. At 43, I have the Niners taking another one of my top-ranked interior offensive linemen.
That may be my favorite photo.
In Wyatt Davis. I know that they got Alex Mack to fill in that center spot. That's what Wyatt Davis plays, but they could kind of do. It's been done a couple of times with some good centers. I think they did it with Ryan Khalil in Carolina. The Bills did it with Eric Wood. Slide him in, have him play guard for a season or two, and then once the guy that you have playing center retires, just replace him and put the guy that played center in college in, that you've been like having play center in practice and everything. Be very solid. He'd be a great piece for that offensive line that the Niners are investing a lot of money in by giving Trent Williams all that cash. So protect whoever you're going to have at quarterback, whether that be Mac Jones, Trey Lance, or Justin Fields, or Jimmy G, if they shock the world and don't draft a quarterback at all.
I was thinking Kyle Trask at 3.
Davis Mills, maybe.
That would be the move.
At 44, I have another offensive lineman going. I think this is where a big run on O-lineman starts.
Okay, we'll talk him up because everybody loves hearing about the O-line.
Landon Dickerson, he started off at the U, I think, and then he transferred to Bama. He has played, I think, over 50 snaps at every single position throughout his college career, and that versatility is something the Cowboys could really use. They got Zach Martin and a bunch of other studs on that O-line, but I think they're one piece away from bringing back like a absolute wall. So Landon Dickerson could be that guy. Move him wherever you need him to be. I have him listed as a guard, but that dude can play all over. He got hurt towards the end of the season, this last college football season, and Nick Saban put him in for a couple plays there at the end of the national championship game for the Neils, and then he ran over and like put Nick Saban on his shoulder and everything. So you're getting a real team guy here with Landon Dickerson.
Moving along.
You got no comments on that? Okay.
I don't care to talk about the second round O lineman.
At 45, you got Liam Eichenberg. The Jags, I know that they just signed their one tackle to an extension. They franchised the other one. They're not good. Those tackles are not good. So bring in Liam Eichenberg, have him compete, and then beat one of the two guys. He's very solid. They use him a lot in the screen game, which is something that Jacksonville did last year. I don't know what they're going to do under Urban Meyer, but Urban Meyer isn't dumb. He will play to his guys' strengths, and you need someone that is going to protect Trevor Lawrence. I don't think the two dudes that they paid money to this offseason are going to. I think Nick Saban just did. Not Nick Saban, jeez. Urban Meyer. And the GM, I think Shad Khan's just operating as the GM right now, but they just did that as an insurance policy if they couldn't get a guy that they wanted, and Liam Eichenberg's will be that guy, whether that be the left tackle or right tackle.
Yeah, my sources have been telling me that if Jacksonville selects Liam Eichenberg, that Chan Gailey will be having heavy influence in the offense this season.
Yes. At 46, I have one of the Moore boys going off the board, and the New England Patriots at 46 taking Rondale Moore out of Purdue. He is the more explosive out of the two, makes more plays, and that's what the Patriots need because they signed a bunch of number 2, number 3 receivers. Rondale Moore isn't really a number 1 by any means, but he is more explosive than the other guys that the Patriots have signed. He is going to be able to go out wide, run past guys, and make a ton of plays. And that's kind of what they're going to need if they get a quarterback. Like, I think they didn't get a quarterback in mind because they didn't trade, but I could totally see them drafting Kyle Trask or, like yours, getting Trey Lance. You need someone for him to throw to. And, yeah, Nelson Aguilar, Kendrick Bourne, all those other guys, that's fine. But you kind of need someone that has some more oomph to what he does, and that's Rondale Moore.
Yeah, Rondale Moore will fit in perfectly for the Patriots because he can't catch the ball.
Mm-hmm. At 47, I have the Chargers replacing Melvin Gordon with Joseph Osai out of Texas. Osai is kind of similar to Melvin Gordon in his measurables. Just the way they play is very different. Melvin Gordon is more technical with what he does. Joseph Osai, he just likes to go out there and kill guys and body like offensive linemen, which is refreshing compared to the other edge players that are in this draft that just run around guys, which Osai does do, but he's out there to take heads off and body people. So I think this would be a good pick for the Chargers. You got Joey Bosa to mentor him, and you get your replacement for Melvin Gordon.
I got to be honest, watching the edge players, none of them stood out significantly when we were watching them for their talent. Joseph Osai stuck out to me because of how many people were like, this guy's great, and I'm just like, he sucks. He's bad.
I don't think he sucks. I just think that he's really raw and doesn't know what he's doing a lot of the time. So,
dude, you're playing D-line. How complicated can it get?
Well, he's going to be going to the Sean McVay of defense. So why don't you just calm down and we'll see how it plays out.
You're right. And with my logic, even though I'm saying the Eagles are going to draft Elijah Moore, that'll mean Elijah Moore will be a freaking great player now because he's got the best coach in the league.
Yep. Gotta play rock, paper, scissors. Yeah, Elijah Moore probably won a bunch of rock, paper, scissors games.
Oh my gosh. We get to the next day press conference for the Eagles, and it's like, or at least like the Sunday press conference after every draft pick has been concluded. It's like, why'd you go with Elijah there in the second round?
That's 2 out of 3, baby.
What's his face? Oh my gosh, Sirianni, why'd you go with Elijah there in the second round? And I was like, man, he didn't even beat me 2 out of 3 times in rock, paper, scissors. He got me 3 out of 3 times.
Oh man! At 48, I have the Raiders.
Good Lord,
taking Creed Humphrey.
It's a nice photo. Doesn't even.
This is also a big Raiders pick here. For me, I would love to see Creed Humphrey go to the Raiders. They need. I would not be surprised if the Raiders just draft 6 offensive linemen, or 7. I guess every single pick's just an O lineman.
It would feel pretty accurate for the Raiders to be like, okay, how can we get better this offseason?
Well, we could take every one of our good players to get rid of them and then replace them in the draft so that the draft basically does nothing. And it's like, yeah, that's a great idea.
I like what you're saying, Mayock. So, Creed Humphrey, very versatile. He's the only guy that I have offensive guard / center because he played center, but people are predicting him to make a move towards guard in the NFL. I don't see that. Just make him center, Raiders. I mean, just do something. I'm not a Derek Carr fan. I don't want to see him die, though. So.
Hey. He'll never have it as bad as David.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. At 49, I have the Cardinals taking Brevan Jordan. This is a pick that you had, too. And I could definitely see the Cardinals reaching on him because Cliff Kingsbury's trying to save his butt. And in order to do that, in Cliff Kingsbury's mind is, well, we got to get an offensive lineman to protect Kyler Murray. Okay, we did that. Now give him more weapons. So they're going to get their Jonnu Smith that they missed out on, Jordan. Give Kyler another weapon for them to go 8-8 again. Or, well, it's going to be a 17-game season, so maybe 9-8, 8-9, one of those. And then Cliff's going to get retired, or not retired, he's going to get fired. And then a coach is going to come in and be like, whoa, we have a ton of offensive talent. Maybe we should do something with the defense.
Who's the best? What?
Oh, I was going to say, though, I could also see them going corner here if they were smart, but I don't think they are.
Who's the best tight end the Cardinals have had while we've been alive?
Dan Arnold.
You just pick the one that's playing now.
I don't know. That's the only one I can name.
It's awful. It's so bad how awful their tight ends have been. This is definitely the strangest pick that we agree on so far. If you have a fourth tight end going in this, like I did, then I'm really gonna be like, are you kidding me? But maybe you just made your bottom 10 picks like kind of a joke, like I did. So.
Oh no, I would never. I take everything super seriously with this.
Well, I mean, come on, you get to number 54. You really think you got the first 54 right? You think there's much to be played for?
Yeah. Well, we both agree with this pick too. Quinn Miners out of Wisconsin Whitewater going to the Dolphins. Again, getting another offensive lineman.
It was the position. It wasn't the player for me. I told you. Once it got to the second round, and if it was any offensive line position in the second round, it was exclusively positional need, not based on the player itself.
Okay, well, the Dolphins get Quinn Miners, who I think is a dog. He is not going to deal with any BS down there in Miami. He's no pretty boy that's going to have it all fun in the sun. He's going to go out there and crush dreams, protect Tua, give the staff a proper evaluation of him. You get Penei Sewell, you get Quinn Miners next to him, move Austin Jackson to the other side. I mean, I feel like the Dolphins need to do a lot of shifting around with that offensive line. I am not as convinced with their play as you were. I just think that though it didn't happen in this mock draft, I can see the other three teams in the AFC East stocking up on edge players and just trying to go to town on each other with that because the O-lines throughout the AFC East really aren't the best. So, I don't know. At 51, I have the Washington
Please don't
football
go
team.
as deeply into analysis for this offensive lineman. I'm getting bored.
At 51, I have Jaylen Mayfield. Now, Jaylen Mayfield's a really great guy out of Michigan. People are saying that he's a swing tackle. I can't really see that. He is a starting tackle at one of the two spots. I think he's more of a right tackle than a left tackle, but the football team needs help wherever they can get it on their offensive line, and they had the Micah Parsons pick, which is a very great luxury to have there at 19, and they get an actual pick of need here at 51. 52, the Chicago Bears shore up their offensive line as well. I mean, you don't have to evaluate Andy Dalton. He's a bridge quarterback. So you just getting him for whoever you bring in next is what you're doing with Dylan Raduns. So I he's going Dylan Raduns is a solid guy, protected Trey Lance. Did a lot in that play action offense that's very similar to Shanahan's. Now, if Matt Nagy does anything creative with offense, which I highly doubt, they have Raduns who has been in a system like that and can block like that, block in all types of plays. So they get that at 52. Do you have anything you want to say about that, or do you just want me to keep going?
No, I really I told you I don't have anything to say about the line. Like not this far. I mean, there's the guys at the top that are kind of consensus and the ones that I agree on. But man, like a lot of these guys, yeah, I didn't bother to take the time to check out.
Okay. At 53, I have the Titans doing the stupid thing that they didn't do in the first round, and that's taking Elijah Moore in the second. I think, did you and I both have him here going to the Titans?
No. I thought I made it clear. I want him to go to the Eagles.
Oh, okay.
No, I think Tylon Wallace. If
oh,
not,
yes,
it was
you did.
Terrace
Yes, you
Marshall.
did. Yeah, yes, you did. You did. They get their Corey Davis replacement here. He's a very mediocre player at best. I don't think he's very good. That 5'9" fast wide receiver build is so overrated. I mean, with me saying that, he's probably going to be very good, but I can't see him slipping
I wouldn't
any
worry about
further.
it too much.
Yeah, I can't see him slipping any further though than this because he's like people think he's a first round pick.
I really would not worry about him being too good at all. I would not. I'm like, there's like almost zero part of me that is worried about him being good.
Yeah, just the Titans get what I thought was their biggest need, and that's more help on the D line. They could get a corner that would be something big there too here with this pick, but I think they're just we gotta replace Corey Davis, and they just make this pick irrationally. At 54, I have the Colts, again, putting a name in that defense that I will probably forget a year after the draft and just say, oh, yeah, wow, he's good. Don't remember his name, though, in Levi Onwuzurike. Another guy just to help DeForest Buckner in there, just wreak havoc upon opposing teams. Now, they could go offensive line here, but with all the offensive lineman picks that have happened, I think the Colts would have to trade up to get something going like that, to get an offensive lineman here in this spot. So they go D-line and just add to an already strong unit in that front seven. At 55, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers taking an offensive lineman. They do basically what
they do what they need to do. Okay,
yeah, they do what they need to do. They do what they need to do. I was gonna find the team that I was looking at my list trying to find the team that I was gonna compare them to because there was another. Oh, the Bengals. Bengals drafted the luxury guy, and then they got their offensive lineman in the next round. So the Steelers draft a running back, and then they get an interior lineman in the next round.
Yeah, it's almost like an AFC North thing, except for you had the Ravens still not drafting a receiver in their second pick.
Seattle Seahawks. Now this pick,
DT. You list him as a DT?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I have the Seattle Seahawks. Though he can't play edge, I won't deny that. But the list that I had him as a DT. I have them taking Carlos Boogie Basham Jr. This just seems like a Seattle pick because this just seems like a name that will be on Seattle's defense that I will completely forget about and that he won't do much in the league because he's on Seattle. So I love Carlos Basham. I think he was like 5 for me in my rankings. But just going to Seattle, I don't know. It seems like a very Seattle pick here. They need to strengthen their defense. Can't really see them going offense at all, really. So any pick on their defense here. They take Carlos Boogie Basham.
Yeah, Carlos Basham ranked lower than Joseph Asai for me.
Okay. At 57, linebacker for the Rams, I have Baron Browning. Kind of the only real weak spot on the Rams, really. They could go offensive lineman here, but offensive line has just been ravaged throughout the second round for me. Yeah, that just helped that defense out even more, get a solid linebacker that I really liked watching.
Deal.
At 58, the Chiefs get Amon-Ra St. Brown, who I think is just in a DK Metcalf that is less physically gifted. The dude can only run goes. And I mean, in the Chiefs offense, that's all you need to do. So I think they reach a tad here to get this guy.
There's a few wide receivers that I need to go back and take a look at, and he's one of them. Because I didn't even see him originally.
It's all go routes. It's really nothing interesting.
The other guy I didn't see that I'm supposed to go see, I think it is. I should check just to make sure, because there's two guys from North Carolina, correct?
Yeah, Diami Brown and Dez Newsome.
Yeah, I watched Daz Newsome. I didn't watch Diami Brown, and I heard stuff about him. So him and Amon-Ra St. Brown, I'm supposed to go take a look at probably.
Yeah, it's nothing real interesting for him. It's just him running go routes and the quarterback dropping it in a bucket. So that's what Pat Mahomes could do, and that's what the Chiefs really need in a number 2 receiver. So why not go and get him? At 59, I have the Browns plugging up that interior hole that they had with Sheldon Richardson leaving and Davion Nixon, who is more athletic than Sheldon Richardson, and yeah, he's just an athletic freak. He has like pick sixes as a D tackle or like 70 yards out. It's insane. So Cleveland is getting an athletic beast at 59. That is a disruptor on the defensive line as well, but don't throw it at him. Whatever you do, don't throw it at him. At 60, I have the New Orleans Saints taking Ifeatu Melifonwu. The Saints, their system really revolves around having a very physical corner.
Linebacker?
Yeah, sure. But having physical corners there, and if you're built like a linebacker, you're going to be a physical corner. So Melifonwu is going to be that guy for them. And he's fallen into their lap here. I could see them taking Elijah Molden here. I just don't see them really. The Saints really don't go into nickel that much, from what I can think. But at least need a pristine nickel corner because they go into that formation so much.
Gotta be honest, I'm not sitting there watching enough. If more games were on ESPN, I would know better, but sadly I don't.
At 61, I have this is just me picking the guy that I liked here. Though I did think he was the best edge player available in Peyton Turner.
Good pick.
Yeah.
Not for Peyton Turner, just because you picked the guy you like.
Yeah. So I got Peyton Turner. I don't want I think it'd be dumb for the Bills to take an edge rusher in the first round. They get a very solid one in the second round. Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about him while I was making this mock draft, and then I was thinking, I'm like, oh, Peyton Turner, what's he graded as? And I looked up his grade, and he's graded as like a mid-second rounder. I was like, oh, that's insane. Okay, well, he's still there, so I'll take him for the Bills.
Well, that's based off whose rankings you're looking at.
Yeah, but he doesn't wear gloves either, so that's another reason why I like him.
Well, he's a basketball player.
Yeah. And for the Green Bay Packers at 62, I have them taking Elijah Molden.
I really like the Packers draft then.
It's just a no-brainer at this point. If he's falling this far, he is the best at what he does. And also, if they want to not utilize him as a nickel corner, just replace Kevin King and have him be a number 1. But I can't see that happening because he's just too good at what he does as a nickel corner. So maybe make a trade, but the Packers cap space really isn't where it is for them to make a trade for a solid receiver, or not a corner, and maybe just draft corners for the rest of the draft and just hope like, well, at least another one of these besides Molden has to hit, right?
Yeah. Let's
Kansas City Chiefs here at 63. I have them taking Jabril Cox. I said this about Jabril Cox for your mock draft, and Jabril Cox needs to go to a team that knows that they're going to put up a bunch of points because they just want a guy that can cover well. And that's what Jabril Cox can do. He is a great cover linebacker that hits hard. And the Chiefs are going to be running up the score, getting a lot of points. So just finish it off. Not finish it off, but get a guy that can stop opposing teams' drives when they're just throwing the ball to try to keep up in Jabril Cox. And then in the last pick of the second round, I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking Javonte Williams.
I was wondering. That's literally what I was wondering right now. I was sitting here like, I wonder if one more running back is going to go or not.
Yes, I have Javonte Williams. Now the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they have Rojo. I don't know if Lombardi Lenny has re-signed yet, and they signed Gio Bernard. So they get another running back. And I said this again during your mock draft, that Javonte Williams will be a great running back for whatever team just wants to keep rotating their backs throughout the entire season. So that's the Buccaneers. They are the definition of running back by committee there. Bring Javonte Williams in. He's a home run hitter when he wants to be. So if you can find him having 2 or 3 good games during the season, I mean, it's worth the second round pick for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at that point.
Okay.
And then recapping the second round, we have this here.
I'm looking for one name specifically because I'm forgetting where you sent him. He may have been a first-round pick. Hang on. No? Yeah. Where did Darisaw go? First round?
He went to the Raiders in the first round.
That's right. My bad. And wait, I'm looking at positions now again. So we have this safety class that you and I both absolutely think very highly of.
Mm-hmm.
And Trevon Moehrig is the only safety going in the first 2 rounds.
I don't think other teams value the safeties as high as we do.
Okay, then. Well, I mean,
I don't know. You played around with your last 10 picks. I don't blame you for it, but I tried to do something that I think teams would do, and the last 10-ish picks, I can't really see teams taking a safety. Maybe the Rams, maybe the Seahawks.
I'm not even talking about the last 10 picks. I picked many safeties before just those last 10 picks. I had, at least before those last 10 picks, I think I had 3 or 4 safeties go.
Yeah, I couldn't bring myself to do it with the guys that were on the board.
Is it because you're not confident enough in the guys on the board, or you're not confident enough in which safety the team would select?
A little bit of both. I have no idea who the number 2 safety will be.
Oh, I don't either, but I think there's something to be said, at least getting the position correct. Like last year, I got Ruggs correct to the Raiders, and then I said Jeff Gladney would be the cornerback that they selected. I was sad because I was wrong about that, but I was right because they reached for some different corner by the name of Damon Arnett.
Mm-hmm. I don't think safety will even, maybe to the Cardinals. That might be one, but I just can't see safety going.
Yeah, no, not even no. My one was the Colts. Colts was definitely they're 11 away from the bottom, so they're not last 10.
Yeah, I get that.
Alrighty, well, that was long. Hopefully, again, just like the other day, but hopefully your opinion is out and everybody knows, and now you're all good. You did it.
Yeah. Hopefully everyone hates me now. But guess what? I'm gonna be 100% right come Thursday.
I hope so. You all set?
Yeah. I think we can cut it here.